Yo, so guys, Fazzy, and welcome to another new tech review video on my YouTube channel. So this is one of the most highly requested videos on my YouTube channel. I mean, highly requested! So around 2 months ago, I decided to post this video on my YouTube channel, which is the MSI GF65 Thin gaming laptop first impressions and unboxing part of this video. So after that, I thought, okay, I'm not making any more, making more content about this laptop, but after scrolling through the comments, I did find a lot of you quite interested on me making more about this laptop, and I did get a lot of positive reviews. Considering the size of my YouTube channel, getting quite a lot of comments after the last video that I posted onto your channel about this laptop, it is considered as a really highly requested content that you guys really wanted. So you guys did say that you want a review and gaming testing video, so I'm gonna give you guys all of that content that you guys requested onto this channel. So yeah, I'm not gonna be talking too much about myself and its intro, so let's get into the laptop. First of all, if you didn't know, the laptop is called the MSI GF65 Thin with a version number of 9SCXRI7. So if you want to get the same laptop and basically the exact same laptop that I purchased, and as well making a video for you guys, then just type in the version number I said just now, then you'll be able to find the exact same laptop. But moving on to the most important part, which is the CPU. The laptop does consist of an Intel Core i7-9750H processor running, which is the 9th gen of the i7 processing unit series, as well as runs at a minimum of 2.6 GHz clock speed to a maximum of 4.6 GHz clock speed. Going on to the GPU, the laptop does, in my case, the laptop does consist of two separate GPUs, one being the primary and one being the secondary. The secondary is made by Intel and is called the Intel UHD Graphics 630, which I say it's barely used because most of the time, unless if the primary breaks down, then the secondary will act as a backup plan for as a GPU for a laptop. Most case, really no one barely be used, and you can basically act as if non-existent. Moving on to the big boy, which is the primary GPU, which is made by NVIDIA, called the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060. Again, not much of a point on me explaining even more about it because it's just pretty much again an entry level to up to mid-range gaming GPU. Moving on to RAM, the laptop does already have installed 16 gigs of RAM, but if you decide that you wanna spice things up and you wanna increase the RAM storage, then the maximum RAM storage is up to 64 gigabytes. But in my case, in my opinion, I don't think it's that necessary for you to increase your RAM storage, is because most games nowadays, as well as most softwares nowadays, only minimum or maximum require around 8 gigs of RAM, and unless you do some insane CPU drowning or RAM drowning multitasking, then I don't think you need to waste money to increase more of your RAM. Moving on to the storage, once you buy this laptop, you will see that the laptop it has already installed a 512 gig SSD. But in my case, I decided to do a bit of a twist to them and make my laptop more unique, which is to add more SSD storage onto my laptop. So now in total, I think I do have around 1.2 terabytes of SSD storage, so it is really good, and in the long term I think it will benefit you guys. It's because more storage means more files able to be stored, and since GTA is famous for having very long loading times, when you have the game installed into an SSD, it does significantly increase the loading screen time, and it is I'll say a lot better. The display also on this laptop is a 1920 by 1080 Full HD display with an IPS rated 120Hz screen. The MSI GF65 Thin gaming laptop does have a premium look with a matte black finish around the whole laptop, and as well as having a very mature and useful plastic back panel. The reason I say it's useful is because there are a few air vent holes at the bottom of the back panel, therefore for obvious reasons that does help with the cooling issues. However, the battery life is surprisingly short-lived, and when web surfing, only purely web surfing, it does only last around 3 to 4 hours, unlike how they advertise it for around 6 hours. But however, if you're gaming most of the time, then it won't make too much of a difference anyway, because you will be plugging in the charging cable as well as using the power brick when it comes to gaming. For weight wise, as a 15.6-inch gaming laptop, the MSI GF65 Thin gaming laptop is a very light and thin, weighing at 1.86 kilograms by itself. But however, you also need to consider the power brick, as it does weigh at around 740 grams, which you need to consider when you're trying to bring it out. As the laptop, it does have a pure matte black finish around the whole laptop. It generally does easily collect or attract a lot of dust, as well as easily attracts a lot of fingerprint smudges. So if you really want a color that doesn't obviously show how dirty the laptop is, then I don't think you should really consider getting this laptop or getting any laptop with this color. Before going to the gaming test, I just want to explain the three conditions that I'll be testing, 4 games that I explain later on. First condition will be I'll be using the MSI RTX graphics card exclusive software made by MSI. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, then this software is only made by MSI and only exclusive for RTX graphics cards users. Provide the best gaming performance as well as switching between modes whether you're not gaming or gaming. The second condition is that I'll be testing all these games with my own preferred settings, which in my opinion I think it's based on the amount of frames and is a more frame based setting. The third condition is that today I'll be testing 4 different games. First one being the Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Second of all, GTA 5. I don't really have to explain it because it's such a highly demanded game, as well as one of the most famous games and highly graphically demanded game on the market still up to now. The third game, which will be FIFA, it'll be for more of the sporty people that actually want to see whether it'll work really well on my laptop or not as well. For the fourth one, it'll be Valorant, released around half a month ago. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this video, but I'm going to be testing Valorant. Coming back from yesterday, I decided to spend the rest of the day actually testing out all the games that I said just now, as well as collecting all the information for me to tell you how the laptop actually did when running those 4 games. So the first game I did test was FIFA 19, and I tested this game on 2 different FPS settings. One of them being limited to 60 FPS, and the other setting having no limits to the FPS, therefore giving more freedom. Look at how many FPS the system can actually run without any restrictions. So when testing the game using limited to 60 FPS, it didn't really follow about how what the settings name, but instead it actually restricted it to limit a maximum of 120 FPS. But overall, I did really get a really consistent result, and it did average at around 117 to 120 FPS, which I was pretty proud of. However, I did not expect this type of result when it came to no limit FPS, which it actually did eventually get lower than when limited to 60 FPS. I think it averaged around 114 to 117 FPS, but it never reached 120 FPS, which is a bit disappointing. Going to the second game I did test was Valorant or Valorant. The FPS was mostly around 120 to 130 FPS, which on my settings did really smoothly, and I didn't find any problems with it. The third game I did test was COD. On my settings, as well as pushing up to the best performance, the turbo performance, as well as setting it to with the same settings on every single game. The FPS did generally reach around 80 to 90 FPS consistently, sometimes even reaching at around 100 or even more FPS. So I was generally really happy with about how my computer performed when playing these games. Coming to GTA 5, the last game I tested. This game is the most graphically demanding game out of all the games tested on this video, and the FPS generally reached at around 60 to 70 FPS, sometimes even dropping to the high 50s. But it really depends on whether there's a lot of movement around the surroundings on your frame. It's because when you're at Sandy Shores or LSI, if you know the game what I'm talking about, then there's generally less movement in your frame, therefore the laptop does perform better and it does load with more FPS. However, if you're at a city, then there's more stuff moving around, there's more people moving around, more cars moving around, therefore the FPS did sometimes drop to the high 50s. The MSI GF65 Thin gaming laptop is a very all-rounded and solid, not only appearance-wise laptop, but also hardware-wise a really solid laptop. The laptop is able to run games from GTA to CSGO at a pretty high performance, and a performance where you won't really complain too much. However, I did encounter one negative problem about the laptop that I wish MSI would really improve improved or fixed on is that the battery life and charging speed isn't very high, and this doesn't really last very long. So if you're considering on bringing this laptop out to public without bringing the power brick, then I highly recommend you to bring the power brick with you as well, because the laptop really doesn't survive that long without power really. So that is it for my review and gaming testing video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to click the like, subscribe, comment if you want to give me any content ideas. I'll happily make it for you guys in the next few months. So yeah, nothing talk too much. Please like, subscribe, comment, share this video as well, and peace.